This is a test of frequency instruments, bass, drums, distortion.
I know the Department of Work and Pensions has taken the universal credit over, and it's all going to change in regards to housing and the like. But you are going to need people to operate what is a very, very much changed world, aren't you, Peter?
Yeah, absolutely. And no council would get rid of staff, you know, if we didn't have to. The problem that we face, of course, is that the biggest cost overhead that any council has is its staffing. And so, you know, you could tinker around and close libraries and close leisure centres and close particular services, but that's never going to bring you the kind of savings that we all are going to have to find unless the government comes up with more money ahead of next April. That's the really harsh reality. And we've seen it all the way through austerity over the last decade. You know, a few staff this year, a few staff the next year. And we can, as I say, tinker with services, but staff are our biggest cost.
Well, you say tinker with services, but you and I have had this with dance before, adult social care, you know, the special educational needs and the like. I mean, but this is staff, so that's people that operate systems. By taking people away, if they were necessary in the first place, don't you make those systems more challenging to operate?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as I say, no council does this, you know, as a first resort. This is very much a last resort. If we think about kind of children's or adult social care, what does it mean? It might mean that every social worker in Croydon will have to pick up a couple more cases. Now, that means that they have an increased workload.
When's the last time you talked to your social workers? Because this is my area of expertise. I tell you, their caseloads are pretty heavy, and what you don't want is you don't want somebody like me calling you to talk to you about why a child has had an incident in regards to not being looked after properly by social workers in your borough, Peter.
Yeah, I know. It's a real tragedy, Ed, and it's a real worry. And we wouldn't take decisions and put more cases onto staff, for instance, unless we thought it was safe. But you know, you're pushing the edge of the envelope, aren't you? Or every time you make a saving, you lose staff or you don't replace staff. And so, you know, that's the difficulty that we're all facing at the moment. In order to get our leisure centres reopened in Southwark, we've had to pay out something like £5 million. And I know other councils around London have had to come up with similar sums. Where's that £5 million coming from? It wasn't in our budget. It's not in our budget. The government haven't provided us with it, but it was a necessary sum, or is a necessary sum, to get that service up and running again. And I think most people would say, well, we want to see our leisure centres open again. But unless we see that £5 million coming back into our budget from some other source, you know, we've got to find it somewhere, and where will it come from? You know, these are the challenging decisions that we face every day.
And I accept that, and certainly that was why we did the Meet the Leader, so that people got a greater understanding of the difficult decisions that people like you had to make. Nevertheless, I want you to push back against the awful question, and every time you come on there is one, which is that, you know, what about the people who phone me and say this speaks to appalling management, that actually you're having to lay off people, you know, in these times? Where's the resilience?
Well, if this is appalling management, how is